Sorry for the technical issue, so it can be resolved. First of all, I want to welcome the community association members that have been able to make it, and I will also welcome the representative from Peabody, Mr. Fowler, and Mrs. Grant, and also the ward councillor, Ms. Councillor Okudo. Good. So you are welcome. We will not really waste time to actually go straight to what we are in today. And you all have the agenda, and shortly we'll be discussing the purpose of this meeting on the agenda. Okay? So that is, I will also give the microphone to the councillor to also introduce herself and the Peabody's representative.
Hi, my name is Mabel. I'm one of the councillors for Lensbury Road, which is just on the neighbouring side. I've been asked to come and support you today and speak to you about the development that's going on and see how Peabody and yourselves can work best together to make sure that everybody gets a good deal out of what happens in the future.
Good evening, it's Matthew Fowlis. I'm the head of estate regeneration in Thamesmead for Peabody. I joined Peabody in February, so I'm fairly new to the organisation, but I do have a background in urban regeneration as well. And thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to come and meet you all today.
Hello, I'm Gillian Dart. I am responsible for the individual negotiation with leaseholders and freeholders on the buyback.
Hello, my name is Maria Ivanova and I am part of this community, and at the moment I am secretary of the group for a fair deal for our homes and this project.
My name is Kadi Balaban. I'm the secretary to this association.
Sorry, Mr. Kanya is the treasury. Okay, so we will be going straight to the agenda. With the community association, once we discuss the agenda, you will have opportunity to mention your name, and that will also take us time. So right now we are in agenda 2, and we know this is August. A lot of people are on holidays, and they actually call me, and really sorry that they were able to make it. So we will do our best to update them what we'll be having here today. So, did anybody, I love calling, and I hope we don't need to spend time on that on agenda 2. So let's go straight to agenda 3. Okay, so you all know, as the councillor have just said, we have been informed that the Peabody and the Bexley Council have taken a decision to demolish our home without our consent. And having been on this campaign for almost a year, and with a lot of you equally written recently to Peabody that your consent was not appropriately consulted, and we deemed it very necessary to come up with a solution that will be easy for my friend and also for the councillor today that will be briefing the Bexley Council. As you all know, as a resident, as a homeowner, or as a stakeholder, you have the right of veto over such proposal that will have such effect in your life. Your home, a lot of you have lived here for almost 30 years, and a decision is taken without your consent. In context of that, if anything is not taken consent, your consent. The other solution you have is for you to think how to veto and replace it with your consent. Shortly, or in the next few moments, our secretary will be reading what the points we've used to veto and replace the imposed options with our 6 or 5 points. So after then, we need to make comments. If you have questions, we will follow it up. So let me give it to Secretary and read out those 5 points that we have all unanimously agreed to veto the imposed options on us. Thank you.
Dear friends and neighbors, as we have done several meetings and we have had a decision to have this meeting in front of our representative, and I would like to read in front of everybody what you have in your hands as well and what we have decided that we agree or disagree. So maybe it is better if you have one each. Can you please have
Has everybody got it? It's very important, your team.
Yes. Okay. So, James Smith and Abbey Wood Homeowners Association, promoting transparency in voluntary and community services. And this is the address of Dr. Olabi, who is the chairman of our group. We, the homeowners in Abbey Wood estate, were not genuinely consulted, and Peabody decided to submit his application to Bexley Council for our homes to be demolished before the consultation began. We have been left hugely distressed and with much dissatisfaction since Peabody and Bexley Council colluded to demolish our homes without seeking fairly our views and concerns. Peabody has not still deemed it necessary to genuinely contact us for our views and presented viable and fair options, despite a repeated expression of rejections of their offers. Based on this, we have anonymously agreed on the following. First, number 1, we do not intend to sell our homes, hence we will not be seeking any evaluation from estate agents. Number 2, if they can offer like for like in the local area as well as compensate us financially for the furnishing and burden of moving out of our home, then we could potentially consider. Number 3, equity or shared ownership will not be tolerated or considered in any shape or form as it devalues our status as a land homeowner to tenants of Peabody. If Peabody wants to buy our freehold land, including the buildings that weren't advertised by estate agents, they ought to have negotiated with us on how much we are willing to accept but not made mandatory. Number 5. Obviously, the arrival of Crossrail at Abbey Wood in 2018 will provide the local area, including Bexley Council and Peabody, with rapid economic growth and subsequent rise in property values over the next 10 to 15 years. Therefore, as homeowners in the estate, we should be treated as equal business partners rather than imposition of your one-sided options benefiting you and Bexley Council alone. And it is the name of our chairman of Thamesmead at Abbey Wood Homeowners Association, Dr. Olabi, but it has been agreed from all the community.
Thank you.
So we've all had our view, point, and concept to veto the imposed option. So here, the councillor and the Peabody representative and you all have witnessed this veto. And now I will give it to the Peabody representative to tell us how he will forward our consent to the management, and also the councillor, how he will notify or update the Bexley Council to go back to the drawing board and work out our consent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What I'll say is we will try and answer every question that we can. We will always answer them honestly. It may not be the answer that you want to hear or would you ideally like, but we will answer you honestly from our perspective. If there's any questions that we do not have answers to today, we will need to take those away and come back with answers subsequently. I hope that's okay with everybody. I think from the outset, I think I should clarify that Bexley Council have not given any permissions for our proposals. Okay, there is we took the decision in January following 12 to 18 months of consultation, which I'm surprised to hear that you feel you weren't properly consulted, because I know from looking back through the files the amount of work that the team put into making sure they tried to reach as many people as possible. The decision that I brought to in January was on the basis of the consultation that was undertaken. The first point that's been raised is that you do not intend to sell your homes. And I should, be very clear at this point. At the current moment in time, you are under no obligation to sell your homes to us. We own around 70% of the stock within what we call the Crossrail Road area, which includes all of your homes. And obviously the 30% that we don't own, in order to take forward our regeneration redevelopment project, we would need to acquire your homes, which we would like to do with your agreement, which is why we've written to everybody and tried to meet with everybody, but you are under no obligation to sell your homes to us at this stage. Okay, so just to be clear about that from the outset. In terms of providing like-for-like homes in the local area, that would be an ideal position for us as well. And that may be possible through the equity offer that we've put forward. So the arrangement or the offer that we've made is that we will offer to buy your properties for 110% of their current market value, which will allow you to go and buy a home off-site if you choose, where we will put in up to 35% of the equity should you need it. If you choose to take one of the new homes that we're developing within the housing zone, so on South Mead Village, which is where the old library is now, Binting Walk and Coraline Walk, the equity offer is up to 50%. So we really do want to work with everybody, but we need to understand what everybody's personal circumstances are. We're trying to arrange one-to-ones with everybody. Anybody who hasn't had a one-to-one with Gillian or I so far, please, we'd like to talk to you at the end to see if that's something you would be willing to do. But in terms of buying like for like, what that will mean is you will get 110% of your current property's value. The houses that you wish to buy off-site, or the houses that are being developed in the new stock, may be of a higher value, which is why we put forward the equity offer. We'd like to keep people in the local area. We're willing to work with you, to make sure that that's possible. But in terms of like for like, I'm not quite sure in terms of what you mean in terms of a house, not a flat. You can obviously see the signs behind us. I do understand that. We need to understand. We are going to be building townhouses within the new development, and there are obviously other houses within Abbey Wood or the local area as well, which you can consider. But I think that's going to be a very personal decision, which everybody needs to take individually. Shared equity will not be accepted. Okay. The shared equity offer has been put forward in line with best practice in estate regeneration. The purpose of it is to ensure that you have the ability to stay within your local area at no extra cost to yourselves. So if the houses that you potentially would be buying or moving into are more expensive and you don't want to take out any additional mortgages, the equity offer is there to ensure that you can do that without incurring any additional cost for yourselves. So the equity that we hold will be held in a similar way to a mortgage, but we won't charge any rent or interest on the equity that we hold. That equity you can chip away at over the years if you want to. You don't have to, that can be held for the entirety of the time that you have that property. Our share of the equity would only be repayable when that property is sold. So for the time you live in that property, your outgoings, if there are no extra mortgages involved, will be exactly the same as they are now. Not mandatory to sell. I'm not quite sure on the right to veto, because as I say at the moment, there is no obligation on you to sell at all. We'd like to open this dialogue, we'd like to have the conversations. We've already successfully acquired certain properties within the Walcott Road area. We've got a long way to go. The next stage is for us to engage with each of you on a one-to-one basis to understand your personal circumstances, your personal concerns, whether you are interested in staying in the local area, whether you want to move away. You know, we want to have an open dialogue, but we can't do that unless you're willing to talk to us. And it is a long process. We haven't applied to Bexley Council for planning permission yet, which we will need to do in order to take forward any development schemes. So that just reiterates the point that I made about Bexley Council have not yet given any consents for what we are proposing. That is Peabody. In terms of the economic benefits of Crossrail, yes, absolutely, it is undeniable. But your property will be valued by an independent market valuer at the time of sale. So whether that's now, if you're in phase 1, or even up to 2020, phase 3 residents, we're not going to be in a position where we need your homes until about 2024 at the earliest. Okay, and they'll be valued at that time. So it's a very long process that we're going through, and we're going to work as closely as we can with everybody whilst we do that. But it depends, depending on what phase of development your property is in, the timescales can be very, very different. Somewhere between 2020 and 2024, between phase 1 and phase 3. And hopefully I've answered all the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. So we will also give opportunity to hear from the councillor, one councillor from Bexley Council.
Thank you very much for inviting me today. I want to reiterate the point that's already been made that no applications for your specific homes have been put through to Bexley Council. I mean, I have raised the questions with officers involved in the process, and they're saying it's too early for them to even know what's going on. It's still only Peabody plans. I understand that you do have concerns about the consultation process that went forward, and I'm sure that you'll be able to explain that in more detail and the results of that so residents can clearly understand it. Our role as councillors, including my colleagues who aren't here today, is to represent yourselves. And I understand a lot of people in this room that I do know have lived here for a very long time and want to stay in the area. And we want to support you and work with Peabody to make sure that everyone gets the best possible outcome out of all the developments going forward. So if you have any specific questions for the council, please do let me know and I'll be able to take them forward. Thanks.
So we will be also be giving opportunity to the people in the community to express their concern based on what the Peabody representative and the what councillor have just contributed. To my understanding, the points we put down has not been currently followed. We have said we don't want to tolerate equity, but I've heard there will be equity. We have said likes for like means, let me explain that. If anybody that has 4 or 3 bedrooms, we want the house or the assistant for such people should be appropriately of this size and concrete. It shouldn't be bricks within the locality. It could be Welsh, it could be Abbey Wood, not evaluating their current homes because they don't want to sell their homes. If you want to buy their homes, what we've said clearly, you have to, it's you that will make the evaluation, not any of this community. They will not, because they don't want to leave. So that is our understanding. Because if you say they should make evaluation of their home when they don't want to live, who would want to live in that home? What would they tell the seller? So what would they tell the seller? So we are serious. This is serious business. This is a new chapter. It's a new chapter. What you've told us is just the old chapter. We want a new chapter right now to follow us. If we want to make it the beginning, it's up to you and the ward council. If we want to make it a solution, we abide by this. Otherwise, there was going to be escalation of conflict between us and the Bexley Council. Escalation who will go higher. So that's my point. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much for coming today. My name is Chris. This is Lensbury Road. I just want to touch quickly, because I know some people will ask a lot of questions to ask as well, on the point the representative people here have raised. First of all, you did mention about the consultation. Can I ask, do you know how many percentage, 70% you said, you guys own, how many percentage of that was consulted? The numbers, in terms of numbers.
Sorry.
In terms of numbers of people consulted,
Yeah.
how many numbers do we have?
I don't have that figure with me today, but I can provide that. I know that of all the people that responded to the consultation, 83% were in favour of our proposals. Sorry?
No. Let us be clear.
83% were in favour of our proposals.
Okay.
The significant proportion of those who were not in favour were homeowners.
Okay, so more or less, we don't, number one, you don't have the numbers, so I'm not sure we're going to verify this in the meeting right now. Probably the 8% will be 10% out of 80%, isn't it? So let's just take it further. The other question I want to ask is that the 30% of the homeowners, do you know the numbers of people that were consulted? Again, same question.
We have those figures back at the office, but we don't have those exact figures with us today. We know that 83% of all the people who responded were in favour.
Okay.
And it was a range of consultation methods ranging from meetings such as this, we did door knocking, we did leaflet drops, we had websites.
Okay.
You were involved in the door knocking all throughout.
Okay,
So it was a very extensive period.
Alright, but the bottom line is that you don't have the figures, and I can tell you I was part of that. I was waiting for those consultations. They never came in, and there was a time you set up a small office somewhere here and the other office around. There was nobody at any point in time to discuss with. I think what I guess was a situation whereby the 70% of the guys you guys own equity on, you took a number there and bring it up to 83%, which we can't verify right now. So just to go ahead, so I don't waste much of my time. Secondly, is the fact that you said the decision has not been made by the Bexley Council about the demolition. Well, that's, for some reason, there are a lot of adverts, as you know, about the fact that that's going to go ahead in the news and the internet about you guys taking over. So I don't understand where the decision has not been made yet, but the advert is going on everywhere about that. Is there something going on in between that we don't understand? Because as a business person, I wouldn't be putting money into something that is not yet to be, it has not been made or verified. So it's a bit, I don't understand how that works. So those are my two, those are my two questions I want to. The other thing I wanted to quickly, if I can, sorry please, that I wanted to also raise is fact I said you did mention about phase 1 and phase 2, and the fact that they're not. What happens if eventually homeowners decided not to sell? What will happen at that point in time? That's the question.
We would like to negotiate and agree to purchase your homes through agreement. If we get to the point where there are a number of homes which still remain outside of our control, we would then ask Bexley Council to make a CPO on our behalf, in the same way that they have made a CPO for Coraline and Lindsay Walk. That's a statutory process which you will have the right to object to. It would then go through to the Secretary of State, okay, who would consider the case from both sides, including your objections, and it will be the Secretary of State who will either uphold the CPO or not.
Okay, well, that's
so does everybody know what a CPO means? Sorry, I'm talking in accents.
Yes, unfortunately, that's we all know that we're educated set of people here, so thank you very much.
Yeah, that's right.
So
CPO will always only be used as a last resort.
Well, we all know that what's happening to the regeneration thing that's happening over the country right now. It's all about taking people's home without right and fair consultation. It's happening in every corner of the country, in England, Wales, and here in London, and even in some communities. So I'm waiting to see how this is going to come out, because we all here, we invested our money, our life in this community, and somebody, because something new is coming in, they want to use your money to take us out so that people can benefit. We that work hard, stay here, invest our time, our children live here for a long time, and somebody somewhere wants to take our lives, our neighbors, our friends, our sweat, our investment from us. And my chairman also mentioned that, are you going to give us likes for likes? And I know you use a very diplomatic answer there, isn't it? We will not get likes for likes. How can that be, people? I rest my case. Thank you.
So, do we have more questions? You have to speak based on what you've heard from the Peabody representative and also the ward councillor. And again, we mean what we said. Those points, we have used it to veto those unfair consultation carried out on our behalf. Absolutely. The Peabody representative has now answered that properly. I've said it before. And the ward councillor, as I've said, you must forward our consent. It's a new chapter altogether. We have to accept that today. We are all witness to that.
Can I just say on the consultation point, I'm more than happy to outline in writing the whole exercise that's been taken, okay? Exactly what's happened with dates, and I'm quite happy to tell you the number of respondents and the percentages involved. I just don't have that information with me today. I know that 83% are in favour, but I'm more than happy to supply that.
How many of us
If anybody was consulted in this community, will not be there. Mr. Foley, you is fake. Let me use that word. It is fake.
Could I suggest, I think the issue today is also around the consultation. It's still quite early, and I think what we need to see is more results of the consultation, specifically to do with homeowners, what the homeowner results are, and what percentage of the overall.
Exactly.
I'm more than happy to provide that, okay, after the meeting. But what I'd say is the consultation hasn't finished.
okay? We're here now to try and consult with you. So if you feel that you weren't properly consulted throughout the exercise, I'm surprised, because I know what the team did in order to try and reach as many people as possible. But we're consulting with you now, okay? Peabody have made the decision that they would like to redevelop, but that is the start of a very, very long process. It's a long process of dialogue with yourselves. It's a long process.
Excuse me, it's not ourselves. It is none of our business what you intend to do as private property developers. You heard what the man said. This is our investment, right? It's unfair that you expect any of us to be in this room on our time when we could be at work earning money to pay off what's left on our mortgage. These are private property owners. They're not council tenants. They're not Peabody tenants. So you holding these meetings regularly is completely unfair. Are you paying for them? Are you paying for our time? Number one, if you want to buy somebody's property, you go to them one-to-one. Yes, we appreciate you doing this publicly, but I just think it's simply too soon to do that. We don't know anything about any sort of consultation. It's just too soon to have these meetings in public. And next time we have one of these, I suggest, if there's no member of the press here, we ought to involve the member of the press. I got a letter, my family got a letter in the post. The week that you decided you're going to sell in 2044, we got a letter from them in the post. And that was the first time we heard of it. No consultation before, no prior information about consultation. We got a letter saying that you were going to demolish our property. The week our father died and our father was killed unfairly by public service. Let's not go into that. Teresa Pierce is very well aware of that. We are not interested in selling, we're not interested in life for life, we're not interested in anything. We are angry. We didn't get any consultation. We lost our father and then we received a letter from Peabody. Who the heck is Peabody? We're not interested. That's it. Please, stop calling us for these issues. We're not interested.
Somebody else? Do you want me to respond?
You can respond, but be honest in your response.
Firstly, obviously, very saddened to hear the news of your father. In regards to tonight's meeting, this is actually a meeting that Dr. Alabi has arranged with the group which we were asked to come to. Gilly and I are happy to meet with people at times convenient to them. We're trying to set up one-to-ones. We have been trying to set up one-to-ones with everybody. More than happy to meet with you. We're here today. You can take away our contact details or get them from Dr. Alabi at a later date. We're very, very happy to continue this dialogue, and this dialogue will go on for a considerable amount of time. We're here to try and work
We
with
don't
you.
want the dialogue. That's what we're saying.
Okay,
We don't
so-
want the dialogue. We
but
don't
as
want
I-
in our properties. We don't want in our
No, want to sell our property. That's bottom line.
But as I said
Let's
right
not dialogue.
at the very beginning, you are under no obligation to sell your properties to us, okay?
Okay.
We would like to talk to you, okay? We would like to buy your properties. We would like to pursue our redevelopment proposals. At this current moment in time, you are under no obligation. So,
No, not
if
at
that
this
is your
current moment.
choice,
Never ever will we be under any obligation. You need to stop saying at this current moment in time.
Exactly.
Stop being under any obligation ever.
What you are insinuating is that because you guys have not gotten the position, either because you've not gotten the decision by the council to sell, to demolish or to do whatever, that's why you're using the phrase at this point in time. We all here educated people who know that. What we're saying is that we don't want to, we are not interested.
Thank you.
We live in this community, we invested in the community. I know you have your own property, you have your family, you have your kids, you have your partner, where you live and develop. How come with somebody from somewhere, because he has some money in his pocket, just want to, I don't want to watch just take it away. That's what we want to see. I'm not sorry to just to think we are here, we're just putting the hand out with you. I know you're just a representative. Maybe you're not, obviously you're not the CEO, but I beg you, please take all this, the energy in this room, take it to your supervisor or managers, tell them that number one, the constitution is fake. Number two, people here are not ready to sell. Number three, if you're going to sell, I want to negotiate, you come to us, not we collecting your contact, you collect our contact, then you speak to us as a group. That's our chairman.
Absolutely. We will be having dialogue with you through this community, all the voice. We don't want single one-to-one individual. That is old chapter. I have spoken, a new chapter has been opened today. You got to get that That should be understood. We are not joking. Don't repeat the old way that involved pollution with Bethlehem Council. If you continue on that path, if you continue on that path, there's going to be a conflict that will be escalated, and I think there will be a lot of despair.
Thank you. I just want to ask the Bexley Council representative. I just want to ask the Bexley Council representative, on what grounds will you grant permission to Peabody to demolish the houses of people that have been living in this community, paying their council tax for many years, and contributing to the development of this community, so that Peabody will have their land and their property and demolish and drive them away? On what grounds? What grounds can we say will make it okay and fair to grant that, to give Peabody that grant to take that land over? What grounds? What grounds will you give them of an excuse that will make it okay to accept that it's okay to drive these people away and bring better people? Who are the better people that Peabody will bring here? What grounds will you use to accept Peabody taking over our land and property? Is it because our money is not good enough? Is Peabody's money better than ours? The people that they will bring here, what color of skin do they have?
Thank you.
What kind of jobs do they do? What manner of people do you want in Bexley? I just want to find out.
I completely understand the point that you're making, but I don't want to, what I want to make very clear is I don't want to see anybody, I don't want to see residents leave this area. In this room, I can identify a lot of people that I've known from growing up in this area myself. And I think it's very clear. I don't want to say that I'm a Bexley representative, I'm a councillor. I want to say that I want to see as many residents as possible remain in the area. I worked with residents on the Binsley Walk estate when that was going through there, and I supported them, and I raised the right questions with the council with them, I raised the right questions with Peabody with them. And I think I want to support you. And when I raised this question in the past about what the development here in the meeting we were going to have today, the officers thought we were actually talking about that. It's been quite early in the development stage, so we haven't been having conversations. I will raise, this is why I need you guys to also let me know what you want to raise. When we did the Peabody, we had public meetings like this, and I understand that's not what we want to do today, but I will make sure everyone in this room has my contact details and their ward councillor's contact details, and if there are specific questions you want to raise in the council, we will raise those questions. Questions you've asked here
before going into specific questions, we will need to have answers to the general and main questions.
Yes.
Because I see your point that you can do individual meeting, but before we need to have a clear idea of the general aspect. No, otherwise we
don't want individual meeting anymore.
That's fine, and that's fine. Then I'm happy to come to group meetings and everything like that. The questions that I see here in front of me are who gave Peabody permission. They haven't applied for planning permission. We have not given them any permission whatsoever. There is a full planning process after Peabody have completed their consultations and everything that they want to do.
Can I
The
interrupt?
council still has to do its own.
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I have it. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Because we're trying to maximize time because of your time here. Now, if people, maybe I should put it back to people yourself, gentlemen. If people are not taking that decision to go ahead with that, why all these adverts? Why all this flyers? Why all this internet? Why?
I think what you're discussing is probably news articles that they've put out about the regeneration they want to do across the whole of Thames. So those are not specific things that they've consulted us about yet. We have not been consulted on that specific, on your development as of yet. We have not. When we spoke with the council, I've spoken with officers, I've had very long conversations about about this. And we wanted to do a question that were residents concerned about Coraline Walk development and things that have already gone through. I'm happy to raise every single question. As I said, I work with those residents really, really well, and I'm happy to raise every single question. I will raise this at council meetings, if you want, I will raise it at public having. As I said to Dr. Alabi, I will raise it a full council question on the matter for you. I'm definitely wanting, I want as many of you to stay in this area as possible. This is your community, this is my community. I have so many good experiences from people in this room who I've grown up with, who I understand and want to remain. I'm not trying to change the community at all. And if there is any decisions going forward, we have to make sure you are consulted. It's not just people that do their own consultation. Before they can get anything through the council still has to do another level of consultation. And I want to make sure as many of you are involved in that as well.
Can I also make a point?
Sorry, just to the point. When we'll have answer to these questions that we have raised today from the council, can you give us a date so we can arrange a meeting and we can give this answer to the group?
So the questions you're asking me today about
all days that we have.
Offer.
When you can ask council what is our concern, and we can receive answers. When? In a week, 2 weeks, a month, days, because you said that you are going to give our concern to the council. When?
So in terms of the kind of offer that Peabody give you, the council cannot decide what Peabody offer you. But what the council can decide is planning permission. Those are the kind of things that we get involved in. Well, we can help you locally as councillors.
Can I keep chipping?
Yeah, just Council, I think we are serious here.
Yes.
We don't want to be doing all the bad. We said we will not be given the opportunity to participate in that fake consultation. We are starting a new chapter right now. And that chapter is to veto all the fake previous consultation has taken place. This is the new chapter now. Is what we replace all that we discussed.
Yeah.
You got to follow this up. Otherwise, the conflict between everybody here and Bexley Council will be so widened that we will end up in number 10.
Yeah, and I definitely think also residents are allowed to raise questions at council. I want to make that very clear. Residents are allowed to raise questions at council.
My dear, sorry, I will have to come to the. I want to ask this group today, please, for any consultation going forward, and any decision making within Peabody, my gentleman. Sorry, I hope you understand what I'm saying. Sorry, for any decision going forward right now, we want a representative of this group, Dr. Olan, to be part of that presentation, even with the council. If it's an ask today, it can be documented that going forward, any decision that needs to be made concerning consultation, concerning decision about this whole thing should be, we should be represented by our chairperson.
So I think the consultation result, as we've all requested in this room, we've asked to see the consultation results, and we've asked for it to be clearly documented.
No, we're not going back. I said going forward.
So going forward.
That's what I said.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Going forward, before any planning decisions are taken, anything like that, anything that matter, in terms of the council, you will be consulted, and I will make sure that every resident in this room is aware of the consultation with the council.
Will our chairperson be concerned? Because he's going to be our representative. Even with, while I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to Peabody as well. If anything going forward, we want our chairperson to be represented there, so that I can forward all decisions and matters to us as well. Please.
Sorry, I was a bit late, but what I wanted to say is from the onset, I think we people that gathered here were not regarded as human beings. Thank you. We were maltreated, we were insulted, that was a slap on our faces. We just felt undertreated. We felt like nobody. It's our property. We have invested our money, our time, our lives, our resources labored for into these properties. And then Peabody, I think if I've got to take something from somebody, I think the best approach is to at least ask from that person if he or she is ready to give it out.
Well, wait till we put a sign for sale. Until then, don't come calling.
But
harassment.
But then what I have seen is, the first letter I got was there is going to be demolition of houses in the area for development. That was the first letter. And so you can imagine how someone would feel. My health had been challenged for some time and it got worse. And I'm telling you the fact, and people that know me can testify to this. And it was like, where am I going from here? What's going to happen? Wake up in the middle of the night and you are panicking and you are thinking, oh my goodness, if I want to move elsewhere, I would have planned, over a period of time. But then, Peabody just thought we are not human beings. They haven't treated us like human beings. And so, I think this is so insulting. And I beg to let you know that personally, I'm not selling my property.
Neither are we. Thank you.
And I think I'm speaking for everyone here. If I'm going to move outside London, because the thing is, if your negotiation comes through, we cannot get any property around here for any of the amounts that is the market value as I talk now. So where do I go? Outside London, I've lived in Birmingham, I've lived in Tony Hall before, I've lived in Lensbury. I don't want to go to outside London anymore. I'm staying here. And this is where I chose to stay. And that is why I bought a property here. And so, for goodness sake, please, Mr. Representative of Peabody, please, for goodness sake, can you take our words back? It's unfair. Quite unfair on us. And the next thing is, you guys are saying you consulted with people. Let me remind you, the first meeting was in that area, just under, the houses, when you're going towards the pub. I was there. It was no consultation at all. They took our details and said, oh, we get back to you later. And someone will call you. Till I'm speaking to you, no one has called me. I don't tell lies. Okay? That's one. The second meeting the second one that I think I attended was the one that was held in this room. And you come with your decisions made up. Everything static. No consultation. Because if I'm consulting with you, you will give me your views, I will give you mine, and then we come to an agreement, isn't it?
Yes.
But there was nothing like that. You gave us your plan, and there was no going back.
Plan with dates.
With dates, and nobody could even say anything. And I can remember a woman saying, here, please, this house has been there for so number of years and so on. Please, nothing. And another time, you sent us to meet with first, what do they call them?
First community, something.
First something,
yeah.
And the guy was sitting in that place. Yeah. And then the guy was sitting in that room, a small room there. I was there because intentionally I attended all that I could. Just to see if I could make any sense out of the whole mess. And then I got there, the guy, everybody was talking. No, the guy had no solution. All the way he was responding to questions.
I'll go back to them.
It was so typical. They were in support of Peabody.
Yeah.
Community first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that all this, I've attended all those. Those were the three I can say, and no other personal letter was written to me as someone who owns something and you want to take. That is stealing.
Exactly.
Exactly. That is proper stealing. There's no mixing words and there's no, there's no psychedelic way of saying it. It's property since 2003. And so, if I thought that aspect of my life is settled, now you're settling the whole thing. I mean, it's quite unfair. And I'm so sorry, you guys haven't really done your homework properly. And the thing is, you've got to approach people. Okay, let's say we have a group of 10 people who you want to take their properties. Isn't it right to just go to them on a one-to-one and ask, please, negotiate and see and take a percentage of those who actually agree with you, and if you have the majority, then you can be talking. But now, the first thing you did was giving us the mandate. It was the mandate and an order on my own thing and giving me a date that you are taking it from me. Forcefully. And then, by the time you finish, you said 2020. That was the first thing we got. And now, the recent mail said 2019. So you are moving it closer and closer. And by December, maybe it will be 2018 that you want to drive us out. I'm sorry. I'm not saying. Thank you.
Does it really make sense that an organization that you say you have not had a decision from, you already have a date in time, you already writing letters to people? Doesn't think that's a caricature setup? Because how can you say you not had a decision yet? Doesn't make sense. Look at your word. You said 2020, 2024. Meanwhile, you're sitting here, there's no decision yet. Don't you think? I mean, you're contradicting yourself, isn't it? It doesn't really make any sense. You just like that woman said. I mean, take yourself as a mother. She couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. Somebody. I mean, why can't we also be a beneficiary of the Crossrail? The only reason why Peabody wants to pick up. The only reason why Peabody is interested in this community right now is because of what? The Crossrail. We have lived our life here. Why can't we be part of that? Why can't we take it on?
They want to say no to your project. What they want to say about your project.
The question from the gentleman is, you said no to our project.
Yes. No, all people say no, as we hear it, yeah?
No, see, this is the thing. So first of all, I'm very...
Okay, I'm now going about your project. Your project, I see in Crossrail walk is not included.
Is not...
Crossrail
walk is not included in your project.
Crossrail walk is an earlier phase of development.
But nothing is happening.
It's not in the map.
So
it's not in the map.
It's not what, sorry?
On the map.
What's on the map?
Crossrail walk is included in the map that came out on the document that we sent to you in February. Crossrail walk is the purple area.
Are you prepared to put the rent, people who rent there?
People who are renting?
Yeah, they can stay in Crossrail walk.
What we've said to everybody who currently lives within Walker Road is that we're committed to giving you the opportunity to stay within South Thamesmead, stay within this area, keep the communities together. So as a rough rule of thumb, what we said to people is, if you currently live in what we call Walker Road area phase 1, you'll be given the opportunity to move into South Village, which is our first phase of development on the housing zone. Subsequent phase of Walker Road will be given the opportunity to move into the
I saw you changed the map. Okay, you changed the map.
I'm not changing it.
Now change the map. I'm going to okay. This project.
Crossrail walk already have.
Lakeside project. Who will in the end of your project?
When you said the lakeside project.
Lakeside.
Across the road.
Lakeside.
The tower building.
The lakeside centre.
Yeah. The tower building.
I need to understand exactly what you
You call in the right side of the project.
This one.
Yeah.
Behind the library. The library.
Yeah, this area here. This area here. South of the village.
No,
Where Taylor Bridge. This is Binsey Walk.
Okay, that's the last one.
So, Southfield Village is
That will be the last one project, last one.
the phasing on what comes
This
forward.
project, okay, don't talk any shit now because there is a last project. Third. They
In terms of the
exactly
conservation
show third.
So between
Yeah.
now and 2024,
Okay,
we'll be undertaking redevelopment on what we call Southfield
I
Village,
know
which is where
this place what looking like now as moon moon oasis because it's demolition. The house stay open and all places is in beton and cement concrete. You know, one working for 3 years. You going to demolish our area in the same will be as this. In how many years you can do that?
Sorry, if I'm understanding.
Already 3 years stay empty with concrete.
Coraline Walk and Binsey Walk still have
Why
people
you
living
not
within.
go first there, build that? When you go to build them first there, I'm going to demolish.
So I think your question is, why don't you build there first?
Exactly.
We are, but what this presents us with an opportunity to do is a phased rehousing of people who live within Walcott Road.
Your project looking like smash and grab.
No, so you said we will be building on these areas first, okay? Between now, Southfield Village, which is the first
How many
phase.
houses you want to build there? How many homes you want?
We have planning consent for 1,600 homes on Southfield Village, Binsey Walk, Coraline Walk and Sedgemoor Road, which is the strip that runs along Harrow Way. We already have planning consent for those homes. We're currently going through a process, okay, of buying back the properties which are currently outside of our ownership.
In project is show 500, not 1600.
525 homes will be delivered in phase 1.
Okay, you have enough space for 500 homes, so good demolition. Your big buildings, 5 buildings on the side, and Caroline Walk as well. You have enough space to build 1,000 homes.
Across
Yeah, of
3 sides.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. But you want to smash the smallest one because it's easier.
Give it to
Just to make sure that everyone's points are definitely
Yes.
understood. Your point at the end about this, sorry, so the point at the end that was just made by this gentleman about the smallest buildings going first, I didn't quite listen, but I want to make sure that I represent you well and make sure your views are shared.
I'll give you all his points, he has written them.
Okay.
I'll send to you because I have his point, but someone has taken them.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'll give it to you.
Thank you. Yes. I just want to say that because it won't be good for me not to say anything. I'm really very angry. I'll start with Bexley Council. I'm not representing Council. I don't trust you guys. I don't trust Bexley. Because the first thing is, for these people to have gone Peabody to go out and advertise, sending everything, they must have got at least a bit back. Without that, you can't just send me a flyer, you are taking over my house.
Something going on behind there.
Without somebody somewhere backing them up.
With dates.
Look at it, where we have the library where they demolished. If I can't remember vividly, I stand to be corrected. It's up to 7 years now. You've not built it. Yet you are chasing us out. We there were still living. Where you demolished, nothing is being done. But people are still living, going about their daily bread. You want to chase them out. You see, let me just make something clear. Either today, or tomorrow, or forever, I am not saying. Just count my own house out. some body language up there. I know people don't bother. I don't know, maybe I look at the electoral list and you can figure a name where we came from and you decide that, okay, what am I going to picture? Take over their house, nothing will happen. The worst neighbor will go to ABC, Ferrari will fight for us. We will take it to ABC. You cannot take over this place. You just cannot. It's not fair. It's not just fair. These are one of the things that you do here that you just feel you can just do anything because you have some minority that you just think they are black and you can just do anything about it. It's not going to work, my dear. It's not going to work at all. You don't have to do that. Those consultations you're talking about, nobody consulted you. The letter is not like every other person. Whatever you got, you just going to. It has nothing to do with the one. Just say that if you look at the majority here,
I don't know the name color.
Well, anyway, if you look at Lagos, I tell you, if we're to be different rates, it will not be like that. Anyway, long and short story, apologies that I'm not trying to go it on a racist ground. That's not what I am. But I'm just like, you know what? You can't just take it. You just can't. You just can't, and it's not going to work.
Hello. I think the lady was representing the President Council. May I know whether anybody asked consultation before we give them the chance to demolish those houses over there?
Thank you for asking. So I think what Peabody have only been around since 2015. So before then was Galleon's Housing. And Galleon's Housing sought planning permission to demolish and build. And then didn't do it when they were meant to do it at the time. And the planning permission therefore expired. When we became councillors, I was only elected in 2014. When I got elected in 2014, I asked the questions, when are we going to provide a proper library and when are we going to build on the land? There was a different offer that was given to residents at the time, which wasn't appropriate. So that has now been dealt with, and that's the reason why I can't say whether that's the reason why they're doing that stage first. But I definitely 100% agree. I think it's an eyesore. I don't think it's appropriate that they could have demolished and not built in the time that it's been. But it's also been the fact that it's changed, the land has changed hands and things like that. But I definitely think that something needs to be provided on that land as soon as possible.
So the green light has been given to them also?
On that part of the land.
On that part?
Yes,
on that
part. Yeah.
Now, I think, I think you said it came in somewhere in February.
I joined Peabody in February, yes.
Please, we want you to go and tell them that we are not selling. That's all. We are not selling.
I can't emphasize the fact that there's a body language between Peabody and the Bexley Council, seriously. Because we don't understand what's going on.
I also want to remind you that I'm the councillor for this area. The council, I don't want to make it political. But the council has officers who they speak with, and Peabody has officers that they speak with.
Yes.
They then consult us councillors quarterly on the decisions that are made.
Okay.
In terms of this project,
yes.
I personally have not been. I think there have been conversations with councillors.
Which you are aware of, you are aware of, or you're not aware of?
With the ward councillors specifically, I've supported Binti Walk, and that's why I have been invited to this meeting today. And I said that I will support that. I think we need to see the consultation results.
No. Forget about it, because it's fake. We can confirm it's fake. That's why we're having this meeting today. Going forward, what I'm saying that there seems to be a back office collaboration with Peabody that is definitely going on. This application we're talking about, I think it's going to be a rubber stamp, because I believe Bexley Council and Peabody have gone into a particular party level by which they have made decisions, sending out letters and doing stuff that all they needed is just to tick the box and go ahead with it. So that's the point I believe we have right now.
I see that point, and if you feel that way, I can understand that. But the reason why I'm here is to tell you that I want to make sure that the consultation is done appropriately. I want to make sure that the right offer is given to residents. People like yourself elect people like myself into my role. So there's no way that I'm going to go around and make deals that don't help you guys. That's what I'm here to do. So if it gets to it...
Hopefully. That's what we're hoping for.
But if it gets to the point where the offers that are given and the consultation that is done is not appropriate, our responsibility responsibility is when you go to the plan committee and say, actually, this isn't right because of these reasons, this doesn't support the needs of our residents. But we will continue to have that engagement. This line of engagement.
We're not your residents, we're private.
No, not Peabody.
No.
Can we hear some of these answers? Because I would like to hear.
Okay.
I'd just like to, first of all, I'd just like to say that I was pleased when the lady towards the back mentioned the 2 consultation events that she did attend. So I'm pleased that there was consultation and that you were present when, or some of you may have been present when it was taking place. We've done a hell of a lot of consultation over a long period of time, and I've actually previously... Guys, honestly, I'm here to answer questions, but if you don't want me to speak, I can just listen.
Don't say that you have set up conditions.
I said at the beginning I would answer your questions honestly, but at the moment I'm not being allowed to answer anything that's come forward. What I'm trying to say is, okay, I've previously written to this group of the care of Dr. Alawi and outlined the consultation process that was undertaken. I've said that, I hear there's a lot of anger and I completely understand, which is why we want to talk to you, which is why we want to work with you. I do understand why our decision is going to be really troubling for a lot of people, okay? This is a long process, we want to work with you as best we can. I said right at the beginning, I will give you honest answers. They may not be what you want to hear, but they will be the honest answers, okay? So I will never try and pull the wool over your eyes and tell you something that I don't believe is true. 83% of the respondents from the consultation events were in favour of our proposals, okay? And I've said that the large majority of those who were not in favour were homeowners, okay? I'm not getting away from that fact, that is the truth, okay? But when we talk about, not listening to people, not taking forward any kind of project, any kind of idea, any kind of concept without the support of the community, the consultation exercise which we have undertaken have shown that 83% of the community within Walcott Road are supportive of our proposal.
Are they tenants or homeowners? No, he doesn't have information. He doesn't have information. He has said that he doesn't have information. He doesn't have
Are they actually tenants or homeowners?
He doesn't have the information, sir. I can answer on his behalf. No, he doesn't have the information. He doesn't know who he sent to. You allow him to answer. No, he said before.
In the consultation, but I don't have the exact figures of how many people responded. What I can say, but I can provide those. 80.
I was not consulted.
80. Okay. But that's not the end. Yeah, and that's not the end.
At this point, for me, I want to know answers. Okay. I want to have answers.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to be stuck on the consultation. We are here now.
And we are listening to your concerns, okay? What we have to do is look at the big picture, okay? We have to take the views of everybody who's affected and take the decision we believe is correct and in the best interests, the wider public interest, okay? We will then have to go to Bexley Council and ask for planning consent, okay? Which we haven't yet done, which we will be doing in the near future. Once we will consult with everybody on our planning proposals before we submit an application. You will also have a statutory right to make comments and objections to those proposals as part of the planning process. There are many steps in this and we want to talk to you along the way, but what I can't do is just give you the answers that you want to hear.
Why cannot give us offers like swaps? Why cannot they offer like swaps to the house that you would like to purchase? Why cannot you propose a swap?
We are willing to look at all options in terms of rehousing. If there is a property which offers a swap, which is exactly what you want, we can look to buy your house and you can purchase that property. What we've said is if the value of your property is less than the house you're looking to buy, we will help to bridge that gap. So it's no more expensive for you. I understand that.
Hello. So with the feedback that you just gave, all that it means is that, for instance, if the market value is about 250, I'm looking around for houses to get a second home. There is nothing less than 400 within our locality. If you want a property like 3-bedroom that we live in, there's nothing less than 400. No, but mine is 3-bedroom. No, mine is 4-bedroom. So I'm looking for 3, and there's nothing less than 400. So So if you are to do a swap, telling us you're going to support us, for instance, I'm left with 5 more years to finish my mortgage because I have to compound it, work so hard to pay double amount to enable me to finish early. So if I'll be 60 within the next few years and I'm to go into this property, it means I'm going to keep on paying mortgage like that.
Where are you going to get money?
Are my children coming to incur the bills that Peabody wanting a land or regeneration for them to start paying? So what's the point? Within our locality, I've seen one of our properties which has been regenerated. It's a single property. It's been built nicely. So if you want to regenerate the area, why don't you consult us and then change those properties to that beautiful property? I don't know whether you've... Yes, I don't know the address, but it's within 18 It's very beautiful. No, not the high rise, it's one of our properties. You know, so if something like that, we can still be in our property, and if you want to regenerate the area for our view and for the view of the barrow, it can be done. Because if you have to chuck us out, my husband is nearly 60. Is he not going to start working? I mean, it's sad. It's very distressing. We wake up at night and begin to think about it. It's so stressful. Is it 70?
Yes, 70.
Sorry, all protocol to be observed. Basing it on all the households that have spoken here today, it's very obvious that if we have to take a vote, a referendum, virtually everybody here is against the idea of selling their houses.
Yes.
But I'm directing this question to both the developer, which is Peabody, and the council. Is it proper for you not to get the consent of the house owner and you go on giving an idea to people that you're going to carry on this kind of a project? Because it is something that you have to think about. A lot of people say, I've been enjoying it. But the thing is, you must start something somewhere. And how do you start something somewhere? A consent giving. You went ahead with a beautiful plan that you want to build a house. On where? On people's house, in people's land, without their consent, and you have it. So I want this question, I'm directing this question, it's the same question, but I'm directing it both to the council and to the developer. Is it proper? Just to be very straight about that.
But I'll answer something. I've had a lot of conversations with leaseholders and freeholders. There are 173 leaseholders and freeholders in the Wolfcote Road area, and some of them I've been negotiating with and have successfully moved. So there is another side to what you're saying in this room, and many people are happy, and many freeholders are happy with the proposals, and I'm working with them to find a number of different solutions, both within, within this area and further away. So there is another side to what you're saying. As I say, there's 173 freeholders and leaseholders in Wolfcote Road.
Mrs. Peabody, it could be that those people you're talking about, they might be young enough to take another mortgage. It could be that they cannot be in their mortgage, or either they finish paying, they decide to move to outside London.
I would like to speak with all of you on an individual basis so I can understand. I understand that some of you will want to talk to me at the moment, but I am here to try and understand.
Well, I don't think you answered this question that gentleman. You have not answered the question. Answer that gentleman. The question I got answered. Yes, please, let me answer, please. Please, let's go to the second, please. Where's the mic? Where's the mic? Please, please. Give the mic to the guy. Let's hear from him. This is the issue. Answer that question, please.
So, we think the question is it fair to be talking about redevelopment before we have consulted and agreed with everybody within the community? I think it's
I'm saying I let us worry about the time.
Demolition and time. Because you know what? Before you said, you came up with a date. That is, you're very specific. Because if you're not specific, you're not going to come up with a date and time. You see, excuse me, You see, if you assume and you throw it into the air, like this is a future development plan. I'm an estate surveyor, by the way, and I've carried out valuation. I've had to pay compensation back in Africa. Those are different process here. But you have a modality that you go about it. How do you pay this woman that has a sleepless night? My uncle is back in Butlins now with the family. But I tell you, I persevere. I talk to him and tell him to take it easy. These are what we have put people through over a period of time. And you're sending letters to people, giving them date, time. And you said you don't
it
sounds somehow. So my question is it proper? This is my question to you. Is it proper? If it's proper, just tell me it's proper. Then I want the council equally to give you an answer to that. Before we know, I don't want question to ask you, but I just want you to answer this question first. Yes.
It would not be proper to take forward any development proposals, any regeneration proposals, before we had sought the views of the community, and we've spent a long time doing that. You are never going to get 100% of people to support anything, okay? 83% supported the proposals, a smaller number did not, okay? So that smaller number is going to be angry, and I appreciate many of them are probably in this room, okay? But that's not the end of the consultation. When you talk about the timescales of redevelopment and why we're talking to you now, well, the converse is, what would you know, we're trying to be upfront. We want to take forward a redevelopment proposal. We feel the best way to do that is to be upfront and speak with you early from the start, take the time to listen, take the time to try and work. Okay, the development of phase 1, we expect to come forward in 2020. And the reason why that comes forward in 2020 is because the people that live in that phase, we want to offer them the opportunity to move into the first phase of delivery within the housing zone, which is South Mere Village, which is where the current library is. We're going out to tender for a contractor on that site next month, and we expect to be on site by spring next year. That's 525 homes, the new public square, the new library. It's a mixture, but it is weighted very heavily in favour of flats, okay? Being honest. But there are a number of 3 and 4 bedroom townhouses, there are a number of 3 and 4 bedroom maisonettes. Okay, and that's why the timescale. But we want to take this time. We have got time to talk. Okay, we're not pressing ahead with our proposal without continuing to talk with the community. That's why Gillian and I have taken the time tonight to be here, to meet some of you that we've not met before. We have met certain people in the room, there are lots of people that we haven't met. We want to open a dialogue. We're more than happy to do that collectively as a group, but there are certain issues which are much better dealt with on a one-to-one basis. We need to understand specific circumstances.
Now, said the one-on-one, you can just operate matters here. I said the one-on-one, Chairman, you have said that several times. You have said it now. And we talk to everyone about the consultation. Let's do the video, please. Please, calm down. All will be done, all will be what? Calm down.
So I think actually, to some extent, let me just finish what I'm going to say. I'll be very short. I think to some extent, the concern is the amount of letters that are coming through and the kind of the wording, the way things have been worded to residents. When a decision is made, there is no decision that has gone forward. There is no planning consent that has been given for any development. A developer can state a particular date they'd like to do something, but unless they get consent to do it, it doesn't mean it's happening. In Tower Hamlets just yesterday, they had 3 really big developments with lots of houses that everyone thought that they would approve, and they weren't approved. Now, I'm not saying that your things will not be approved, but what I am saying is, what I am saying is, they need to prove, in the same way you're asking them to consult with you properly, they need to prove to the planning department and the councillors on the planning group that they have properly consulted residents, that there is genuine support for
what are the criteria for the council to approve the what are the criteria?
What's the criteria to approve a development?
Oh, no.
To not approve a development. And there's lots of criteria. I can send the document to Dr. Alamin to show what kind of level of consultation they need to do, what kind of things, the scale, the massing, design, all those kind of issues. There's a range of issues. But there's no one particular set of rules. There's lots of reasons.
No, I thought they said the criteria, sir.
Like
homeowners.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is, There is a long process to go. So if there is anything that's saying that definitely things are going ahead, there is no definite. The council has not said yes. So residents need to be consulted, residents need to make their views very clear to Peabody, and then they need to show that they have engaged with Peabody, not that they're not engaged at all.
But 2020 is around the corner, huh?
Pardon?
2020 is around the corner.
Yeah, and there's no plan commission has been sought yet.
Okay.
It doesn't mean it's happening.
Quick question.
Yes. Regarding the percentages, when we received the letter from Peabody that they have decided to go ahead with the project, exactly it was 80% or 81, or I can't remember exactly, but 80 to 20, and it was written 20% were homeowners that did not agree. So it was somewhere in my documents, this letter that we have it, and please, we are homeowners here. Make the difference.
Exactly.
We own our homes, we own our land. So don't take this decision because somebody who is not a homeowner wants to go somewhere to live and you can provide them as a tenant. There is a big difference. Please take in consideration this one.
I would say, to echo what you said, no information they are fake because the P86 they are talking about, let them provide the analysis, the numbers, the age, whether they are owners, whether they are not owners, if they can't provide that. I hope they will provide that to you.
We've already provided a list of all the consultation that has been undertaken as part of this project. That's already been provided to Dr. Alari. Just to clarify.
No. As hang on. You started February. Let me have it. When you look at the letter here, if you can read it, secretary read it. In February, when he was employed, I had already taken on Peabody. This is Mr. John Lewis. These are areas I've written the more than 14. They did not address it specifically.
No, they won't. I trust them.
You can read it, what we are discussing. So when you are saying, you are just employed. I have been on Peabody's scheme since 2016.
He's trying to be
read it. So what we are saying, we should let us be serious. I don't have, if I stay 1 hour in my office, I know how much I'm paid. Let's be serious. Don't be saying we had a consultation. It's fake. Should I bring dictionary? Don't ever repeat it. We have to be very serious. Don't make a sense.
We are more than happy to answer any questions.
No, you're not asking. Go on. Sorry, please. Go on.
You can sit here and nod and say no planning permission has been put in place, nothing's been consented, but yet you will still put planning permission in place eventually. No, they won't, but Peabody would go forward and they will put planning permission in place. And you have said they have to show that Peabody has engaged with the community to show, and the community here today is saying they don't want to sell, but yes, they will still put a planning permission in place. And if they do, and they get going with the property development of the area and everything like that, you're saying you're going to rehouse everyone. Now, me and what my knowledge is from working in housing development areas and stuff, most likely they sell the properties before it's even been done and built, okay? They sell it up. Are you now promising that us that can't trust your 83% and that you've engaged with everyone in here, can we trust that you'll make sure everyone's what they want is going to be taken on board? You're going to sell to them what you're planning to build, when really, those people that are coming in because of the Crossrail, they're looking forward to coming into Abbey Wood because of that Crossrail. They would already buy before it's even been built. So when do we get to say, and when do we say, okay, well, where are we going from here on? What's going to happen from there? Because that planning permission is still going to be put forward, okay? And you can nod and say, it's not been put in place yet, don't panic. It will eventually be put in place.
So can I do something?
Do we have the opportunity to respond?
Yes.
That's a really fair point, and it's a really good question.
Peabody do intend to submit a planning application. I've been very clear on that. But Mabel was quite rightly pointed out that that has to go through a process. There are statutory planning laws in place. Bexley have their own planning policies and documents which have to be accorded to, okay? And as I've said previously, you will have the opportunity to raise your comments, raise your objections as part of that process. This is a process, it's not a fait accompli, okay? We're not sitting and saying this is exactly what's going to happen.
Why we have confidence to build proposals, show design development, come up with your maps,
Yes.
and still send flyers to every single one of us with dates? Why do you have that confidence then without our consent?
It's just that's what you're saying. That's what I'm
From the consultation that's been undertaken, 83% support, so we believe we do have the support of the community. We do not have the support of the whole community, we're not trying to sit here and say that we have. In relation to the specific question about people coming in and buying things off a plan, yes, that happens on private developments. That's how developers make their money. Peabody are a charity, okay? That is not what we're Guys, if you don't want me to answer the questions, Gillian and I will. We're trying to answer your questions. Peabody are a charity. Yes. We are a housing association. We are a charity. Every penny that Peabody earns is reinvested into providing affordable homes throughout London and in social and community care. Okay? So, on the specific question, when will you be given the opportunity, we're trying to open that dialogue now. A lot of people that we're talking to within phase 1 of Walcott Road are saying to us, how do we know we want to move to Southmead Village, the first phase of development near the lake, when you haven't shown us what the properties are going to look like?
Exactly.
Fair comment. Those plans are being drawn up as we speak, okay? We're going to get a contractor on board. I said previously, we're going out to tender in September, and we'll hope to be on site next year. We will be in a position, I'm hoping, in early next year to be able to sit down with people and show them the floor plans, show the layout, show the types of properties that are going to be available. We're talking to you guys, we're not talking to anybody else. We're giving people the opportunity to move into the housing zone if they wish. We're giving people the opportunity to move in the housing zone with an equity loan of 50% if they wish. There is no demand. Okay, we need to understand what everybody's personal circumstances are. And I can assure you from the conversations we've been having, there are many people who are interested in moving into the housing zone and they're engaging with us.
Why are they not in this room?
Because they support the proposals.
Then why did they still take
On what basis? What information? You can't just say this is a way you are going to this kind of the meeting, you have this kind of information.
What kind of information?
Information, I just asked you at the beginning, I asked you which question. You said 70%.
You asked me exactly how many people responded.
You said 70% you equity you hold. 30% is homeowner. I said, what percentage of the 70% are due from the 83% you're mentioning that is represented? You don't have an answer. Then I went back to the 30%. I said, of the 10% that you don't own equity, how many percentage of the 83% in total do you own? You don't have an answer. You're going to go back. I will expect you to come with that kind of a figure in the future. I think you should hold on to.
You're talking about specific numbers,
yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Which I'll say I'll go about how many okay?
I'm very important.
Names of people and so on.
Just to clarify on the consultation point, I think we're now saying almost the same thing. We're now saying almost the same thing. At the next, if there is another meeting, what you specifically want to know is what percentage of homeowners were consulted, and what were the outcomes of those consultations.
That's it.
And we want at least.
I'd just slightly.
You want to know the consultation?
Yeah, I don't want to put any fake names and I can make 100% myself. Everybody can make come up with any figure.
Yeah.
We won't be giving names.
No, we don't know names, but factual.
On consultation, I think now the point is we're not saying that. The next one, we know exactly what the wants to, and they're saying they'll bring those things.
Can I just say as well that before we held this meeting, ask if there were any specific questions you wanted answering. If we could have them in advance, it'd be helpful so that we can come prepared. And if there are any questions we couldn't answer, then we can take them away. That's all we can do. You know, there's a lot going on. We want to work with you, but I don't have one specific figure. Okay, and the only thing I would say slightly different is the level of consultation we've had. People have to engage in that process. Okay, so we'll give you the number of people that responded. We'll do that through email with Dr. Alabi and he can distribute it. But we can answer any questions that you want. That's what we're here to do. But we're not.
Please, I think the Peabody is a private company. That's all. I don't know whether we have some Bexley councils, big people within the Peabody. That's it. No.
No, they're separate.
Okay. But I wanted to know another one, whether Peabody has got some houses around that they are renting. Some people have left the houses, and the Peabody has taken over. I don't know whether they are renting those.
They are renting is very good.
No, I'm not renting. Nobody should answer for me. To know whether they are renting.
Where we have successfully brought back the property from the When we successfully buy a property back from the freeholder, there are a number of options that we can take. We can board it up. We don't want to board it up for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, pending its redevelopment if it happens. We will look to rent it out either privately at a market rent to get an income. We will look to give it to a property guardian so the property is occupied and therefore the area doesn't get run down. Or we will look to work with Bexley Council and use it to rehouse a family.
May I know how much you charge per month?
We will pay market rent. We will charge the market rent for it. We will do the property up. We will put where it is economically viable. We will put in white goods and we will let it out on the private market. And the reason we do that is because we don't want to give any more security of tenure to somebody and have to rehouse them when ultimately we need to come to get the property.
The last question, please. The last question, so that we round it up right now.
I'm not sure that you guys make promises.
All protocols of please. I just want to conclude. Sorry. We, all the people in this room are not interested in selling.
Yes.
Please, take it back to them. So we are not interested. I personally am not interested in your offer. I'm not interested in your consultation. I'm not interested in selling my home. Please, that is the only thing. We do respect. Because there is no point selling at this stage. I've barely finished my mortgage. You want me to start all over again? Please, I'm begging, not that I'm pushing others. We are not interested in selling our properties. God bless.
The last question.
It's not a question, so to say, or the first meeting that was held in this room, we found out that because when they're talking about trying to give property to people when they are built, now the area when after they finish, they would only have 8 houses, according to the information from Peabody here that day. I keep pointing to that place because that was where the table was that day. It's going to be 8 houses. The rest will be high-rising flats. So, for your information, so there is no room for selling.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
Mine is not more of a question because I've observed, I'm a keen listener and observer. I don't know how they talk unless it's absolutely necessary. I noticed my key question has actually been answered, and that is if the planning permission approval has been granted, which is not been granted. So I don't think the reason for most of the questions is actually at this stage, to me, will have been unnecessary. Because that is the key thing. And if the approval has not been granted, then the point of the discussion actually will not have taken place. And that's why I kept quiet most of the time and listened with keen attention. And that's why I've not answered the question. But the bottom line is, I will not like to sell my house. I will not, I repeat, I will not like to sell my house, even though the planning permission has not been granted. So I just want to make that comment. It will not be nice for me not to talk, being on the high table here. And,
so we've come to the end of the program, and I thank everybody that has taken the opportunity to come here. And I thank the representative from Peabody and also the ward councillor from the Bexley Council. So it's a pleasure, and we've sent our message, it's very clear. I'm sure our good friend will take this on board, and we have to be serious right now. I'm sure if he leaves here, he's going to recall all that we really discussed.
So at least from this, we
will do that. Again, conclusively, a new chapter has been opened today. So this is the chapter we've opened. It must be taken seriously. Thank you.